The Holy Gospel, according to Matthew, beginning at the 20th chapter. Jesus said to the disciples, "The kingdom of heaven is like a landowner who went out early in the morning to hire laborers for his vineyard. After agreeing with the laborers for the usual daily wage, he sent them into his vineyard. When he went out about 9 o'clock, he saw others standing idle in the marketplace. And he said to them, 'You also go into the vineyard, and I will pay you whatever is right.' So they went. When he went out again about noon and about 3 o'clock, he did the same. And about 5 o'clock, he went out and found others standing around, and he said to them, 'Why are you standing here idle all day?' And they said to him, 'Because no one has hired us.' He said to them, 'You also go into the vineyard.' When evening came, the owner of the vineyard said to his manager, 'Call the laborers and give them their pay, beginning with the last and then going to the first.' When those hired about 5 o'clock came, each of them received the usual daily wage. Now when the first came, they thought they would receive more, but each of them also received the usual daily wage. And when they received it, they grumbled against the landowner, saying, 'These last worked only 1 hour, and you have made them equal to us, who have borne the burden of the day and the scorching heat.' But he replied to one of them, 'Friend, I am doing you no wrong. Did you not agree with me for the usual daily wage? Take what belongs to you and go. I choose to give to this last the same as I give to you. Am I not allowed to do what I choose with what belongs to me? Or are you envious because I am generous?' So the last will be first, and the first will be last." The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, O Christ. Once there was a woman who owned a small company that makes clothes. Business was steady and things were going well, and then the pandemic hit. She and her leadership team watched in shock with the rest of the country as sales plummeted for several weeks in a row. One of the team suggested that they should try something different. And since they had all the supplies and everyone was beginning to wear masks, they made several test batches and put them on their website for sale. Quickly, they saw that had been a really wise decision. They had managed to keep most of their staff on with the help of a PPP loan, but they needed to hire more people to handle the extra workload. First, they hired a tech specialist to manage their online orders. Only a fraction of their business had been online before, and they needed to upgrade their system and handle online requests efficiently. The next week, they brought on 2 additional people to help make masks and work on new designs for special fits and needs. 2 weeks later, they hired another person to deliver masks locally to larger clients like senior residences, care centers, and schools. The time came when all of the new staff were receiving their first paychecks, and although, of course, their hourly pay was supposed to be confidential, the delivery person exclaimed in surprise before they could stop themselves when they saw their check, as it was more than they had expected. And one of the longtime staff couldn't help but overhear. They were frustrated because it didn't seem right that someone who was so new to the staff, and only a driver after all, was getting paid so well. Finally, they went to the owner of the shop and complained, telling them it just didn't seem fair. And the shop owner replied, "Friend, I have done nothing to hurt you. We agreed on your salary, and I have kept my commitment to you. Take your pay and spend it as you wish with gratitude. I choose to pay our new staff a just wage also. Am I not allowed to do what I choose with what belongs to me? Or are you envious because I am generous? The parable that Jesus shared in our gospel reading this morning, as well as this modern retelling by a fellow pastor, leaves the vineyard workers and the assembly with a lot of varying feelings. Like the workers who arrived at the vineyard first, it's easy to cry out that what the vineyard owner did wasn't fair. Comparison, fairness, justice, and deserving are so ingrained into our cultural upbringing that it's been hardwired into our brains for millennia. In fact, experiments have been done that have proven that fairness and these emotions we experience when we feel we are treated inequitably even exist in monkeys, dogs, and other animals too. In order to better understand the concept of fairness, Sarah Bronson and Franz de Waal, two zoologists at Emory University, designed an experiment that tested the emotional response to mimic unequal pay in capuchin monkeys in around 2013. Two monkeys were placed in a testing room in testing cages next to each other in full view of each other, and were trained to give rocks to their handler in exchange for cucumbers, a food which they love. The experiment starts off well, and each is satisfied with the payment that they have received. Then the conditions change. The first monkey handed their next rock to the handler and again received a cucumber for their efforts. However, the second monkey was given a grape instead. Grapes are the equivalent of fine dining to capuchin monkeys, and the first was eager to exchange another rock in exchange for this upgraded food source. The results of the experiment are incredible to watch and are viewable on Franz de Waal's TED Talk on YouTube. Upon receiving another cucumber, the monkey's ire at the injustice was immediate. Rattling the cage, hitting the tabletop, gesturing angrily at her counterpart, and even throwing cucumber pieces at the handler in response. It's an extraordinary video to watch. Our sense of justice tells us that we only get what we earn, that there's no free lunch. We need to earn our place, earn love and approval from others, and for many, to earn the right to have the same basic human rights and privileges as everyone else. But God's sense of justice is different. God's sense of justice isn't grounded in our warped human sense of fairness. It's centered on everyone having exactly what they need, where the beloved community is treated with equity. Luther, in the Small Catechism, reminds us to trust that everything we need, clothing, shoes, house, home, land, animals, money, goods, a devout partner, devout children, devout workers, devout and faithful rulers, good government, good weather, peace, health, self-control, good reputation, good friends, faithful neighbors, and the like, is provided for us by God and for all people, not just some. It is for us to be good stewards of what it is that we are given, ensuring that God's abundance is made available for all. As you go out into your week this week, I invite you to take a step back and to notice. Where is God providing for you today? How can you ensure that God's abundance is available to all people as God intended? Where in your life are there opportunities to hold up the dignity of every human being? Thanks be to